Story 1. I stopped eating after 7 p.m. My late-night snacking was sabotaging my progress, and setting this simple boundary helped me lose 25 pounds. Additionally, I sleep much better now. Story 2. I'm brutally honest about tracking what I eat. I don't feel guilt about my food choices, nor do I think I need to earn my meals or label food as good or bad. I'm simply being truthful with myself about how many calories I consume. I've lost 85 pounds. Story 3. I'm currently down 38 pounds and fighting a plateau. I've mostly stopped eating unhealthy food, although I miss my microwave burritos. There is no sugar in my coffee, and I am limiting my intake of treats like chocolate, my old nemesis. I'm cutting down on carbohydrates and eating more protein and vegetables. That being said, it's a daily struggle. I go to the gym 3 days a week and kind of hate every moment of it. However, I want to see my grandkids graduate from high school, you know? That's my true motivator. Story 4. Being unemployed and delivering food on my bicycle while eating only russet potatoes and whey protein to make rent. Upside, I look better than ever. Downside, I can't go on dates with people who are now paying more attention to me because I have no money, and all I can offer them is potatoes and whey protein. Story 5. I experienced menopause at a young age of 38 and gained 60 pounds in a little over a year. Once I received treatment, I lost 40 pounds in a matter of months. If you suspect there may be an underlying condition, consult your doctor. Story 6. The year I had Invisalign was the thinnest I had ever been as an adult. The change was primarily due to only eating at mealtimes and saying no to anything but herbal tea when out at parties or social events, as it was too much effort to take my aligners out. After some recent age-related weight gain, I have stopped eating after 6 p.m. during the weekdays, and I wear a weighted vest when I walk to balance the calories consumed and burned. I have lost a few pounds and now my weight is stable again. I tend to eat intuitively and would like to continue doing so. Restriction is no way to live. Story 7. Pouring snacks into small ramekins to enjoy them. Suddenly, I ate a reasonable amount of snacks, not an excessive amount. Story 8. The time I lost a lot of weight without much effort, I was walking everywhere and drinking plenty of water. I focused on chicken, rice, and a variety of vegetables. I seasoned everything well, so I never got tired of it. I also reduced the sugar in my coffee by half. Story 9. Water instead of soda, and also started thinking about why I wanted food when I did. Was I actually hungry? Or did I just want something to munch on? Or was I just watching a cooking show? The mindset shift and pausing before I go for a bag of chips helped with moderation. Story 10. Caloric deficit. The average adult needs about 1,500 to 2,000 calories a day. Instead of removing items from your diet, consider adding foods that can benefit your nutritional intake. Choose zero-calorie or sugar-free drinks. If you need more protein, consider adding protein powder. It's all about the mindset. You don't need to eliminate foods from your diet, as that can lead to dissatisfaction. Enjoying treats occasionally is perfectly fine. Focus on what you can add to your meals instead of taking away, such as incorporating broccoli for additional nutritional value. Mix rice with chicken to enhance protein content. Not all carbohydrates are unhealthy. You can enhance them to make them more nutritious. There are no quick fixes, and not every diet works for everyone. Additionally, walking and weightlifting can be beneficial for your health. Story 11. Portion control is essential. Stop thinking about diets, detoxes, or cleanses. Create a new normal by not eating so much, either in quantity or frequency. Anyone discussing diets, detoxes, or cleanses is trying to sell you something. They profit because previous diets, detoxes, or cleanses didn't work. Story 12. Intermittent fasting has been a great help, especially by staying honest and cutting out late-night snacking. Story 13. Counting my calories. I tried a variety of diets for years because I feared that counting calories would be too restrictive, but that was not the case. The biggest eye-opener was realizing how many calories I was actually consuming and how many calories certain foods have. I started by tracking everything I ate, then gradually reduced my calorie intake over time. I'm not exaggerating when I say that it was the easiest way to lose weight, especially since I was also going to the gym, which I have always done. In my opinion, tracking calories was the most sustainable way to reach my target weight, and now I'm just at a maintenance level. My only regret is that I didn't try it sooner. Story 14. Drink 2 glasses of water before every meal or snack. The idea of doing this encourages you to pause and consider whether you are truly hungry. Story 15. I have reduced my alcohol consumption and improved my eating habits. Changing my mental health medication has made a significant difference. I go to the gym sometimes, but I am working on being more consistent. Story 16. Don't drink your calories. Aim to walk 10,000 steps a day. Focus on volume eating by consuming plenty of fruits and vegetables, and use smaller plates. Story 17. I'm going to be honest. I'm not obese, but I am considered heavy at 205 pounds and 5 feet 10 inches tall, and I have fatty liver problems. My doctor was able to get my insurance to cover the treatment. It has been life-changing, not just physically, but also mentally. I now weigh 179 pounds and am hitting the gym hard. I am eating healthy as well, as I eat very little now. Story 18. It felt like an impossible task until I stopped listening to my brain. That part of me is always hungry. If my stomach isn't growling, I don't eat. Eating slowly and chewing more helps me feel full sooner. I've gained some weight. My best was 164.1 pounds. I am currently 185 pounds. I started at 304 pounds at a height of 5 feet 8 inches. Story 19. When I was in my 20s and 30s, it was definitely exercise. In my 40s, exercise does absolutely nothing for me, so it's a ketogenic diet. Story 20. Hitting rock bottom, as alcoholics say about their struggles. I was up to 400 pounds with no sign of stopping. I was carrying my art project out of the camp bus when I missed the top step. I fell 5 feet and landed directly on the gourd I had grown, carved, and painted, crushing it to powder. I lay there for a while, thinking, this is not working. I found an OptiFast program at my healthcare provider and began a 6-month, 1,000 calorie per day medically supervised fast. I lost 5 pounds per week and returned to Burning Man at 230 pounds. I have maintained that weight for 20 years now, never exceeding 260 pounds since. I switched from driving my car to riding my bicycle to work, using public transit. It's 5 miles from the station to work, totaling 10 miles a day, or 50 miles a week. It's still a battle, but that program gave me the skills to succeed. 1. The ability to estimate the calories on a plate. I now know the caloric content of vegetables, meats, breads, and fruits. 2. A small card in my back pocket. I note down everything I eat, just enough to keep track of my daily total so far, and I pull it out to help me decide if I can have dessert. Story 21. Gamify my health. My watch tracks various statistics. I check it frequently and strive to improve them. I can share my statistics and compete with others to surpass their performance as they aim to outperform mine. Peloton is excellent for enhancing the gamification of indoor cycling, while Strava is ideal for outdoor activities. Essentially, my health consists of a series of charts that need to increase, unless they are meant to decrease. Story 22. I started thinking differently about health in 2020. I was tired of gaining and losing weight, and I wanted to get off the diet roller coaster and overcome my food and sugar addiction. I decided to focus on progress, not perfection. Concentrating on realistic, sustainable, and gradual progress helped me lose weight and keep it off. I made slow changes, and when I encountered setbacks, I didn't give up or label them as failures. They were just part of the process. The result: every time I've been weighed at the doctor's office, typically twice a year since 2020, I've lost weight. My weight loss may seem slow or unremarkable compared to those who have lost 40 pounds quickly in 6 months. It's taken me 5 years to lose 40 pounds. I have 30 pounds left to lose. My primary focus has been on sustainable, gradual changes that don't throw my body or mind into chaos. I once lost 44 pounds in 4 months by drastically reducing calories and engaging in intense daily workouts. Although I was losing weight, I looked and felt terrible. I appeared older and was exhausted and irritable because I was hungry and obsessed with food. I would watch food shows just to see people eat because I was so hungry. I could feel my body crying out for nourishment. It was unsettling. With slow changes, I don't feel like my body is in emergency mode. I feel terrific. This gradual, more peaceful mindset has changed my life in many ways, and the weight loss is a byproduct of that mindset. Progress, not perfection, has worked for me. Story 23. I know a man who lost 60 pounds and has never gained it back. However, he does not recommend the method, as he stepped on an improvised explosive device in Afghanistan. Story 24. I used a calorie calculator to determine my daily calorie intake and tracked everything on MyFitnessPal while planning most of my meals. I weighed myself every morning and monitored trends week to week. Story 25. I was diagnosed with diabetes in December, after years of being pre-diabetic. My A1C finally exceeded the 6.5 mark after a gluttonous November filled with carbohydrates, measuring at 6.6. My doctor prescribed trispeptide and recommended a maximum of 15 grams of carbohydrates for breakfast, 15 grams for lunch, and 30 grams for dinner. For reference, that's about a quarter of a bagel worth of carbohydrates for breakfast. I have attempted low-carbohydrate dieting before, but I only lasted a week or two. Historically, I have followed a high-carbohydrate diet consisting of noodles, bread, soda, and more. I could easily eat 4 bagels for breakfast. The trispeptide has helped eliminate hunger pangs, allowing me to adhere to a 60-gram carbohydrate per day regimen for the past 15 weeks. I have lost about 50 pounds since starting trispeptide and still aim to lose another 75 pounds. I haven't been this light in about 20 years. I anticipate being in a low-carbohydrate phase for the remainder of the year. Story 26. For 20 years, I tried to lose the last 20 pounds, but I enjoyed my food too much. Then I got sick and couldn't eat anything for almost 6 months, which resulted in losing 20 pounds. I don't like the way I look. I feel too skinny. Now I can't put the weight back on. Be careful what you wish for. Story 27. I will once again share this comment from a user from nearly a decade ago that helped me lose around 90 pounds. One of the most helpful things I read in my personal weight loss journey was something like, "It took you ___ years to reach your current weight. It's okay if it takes you a long time to take it back off. Rather than try to overhaul your entire diet in one fell swoop, take small steps and be proud of yourself for achieving them. You have a lot of habits to unlearn, so be patient with yourself. Below are some steps you might take. Choose any order, just remember anything you do is a positive change. My suggestion for a first step: drinks. Do you drink soda? Track how many you have in a day. Cut back or go cold turkey. Consider a healthy intermediate. It's hard to go from soda to straight water. I personally used flavored water packets for my drinks. Second step: fruits. Yes, vegetables are better for you, but if you are not used to eating them, fruit can be an easier step from processed foods. Add in a serving of fruit a day. Eventually, you can replace a snack with fruit instead. Remember, patience is key. Third step: portion size. Without changing what you are eating, you can still cut calories by just eating a little less. Cutting your portion in half may be too big of a step. Your body will complain and you might not stick with it. You're making a change for the rest of your life, not temporarily depriving yourself. If you see it as temporary, you're just trying to survive it like a punishment, and you won't actually be learning a new lifestyle. Don't eat until you're so stuffed you have to loosen your belt. Eat until you're not starving. My best recommendation here is to find something engrossing to do between meals, such as a hobby, a good book, or a fun game. Sometimes we fill our lives with food because we forget to fill them with something else. Fourth step: cooking. This can be the scary one. But remember, we are taking small steps, nothing too big. We are not going from 0 to 100%. Instead, you are going to cook maybe twice a month. If you're brand new to cooking, start very simple. Maybe chicken breasts in the oven with a little mayonnaise on top and garlic salt, baked potatoes with a few toppings. If you are more experienced, try a recipe where you can hide vegetables. For instance, spaghetti with shredded zucchini in the sauce. Each time you find a recipe you like, make a copy and stick it in a book. Add a brand new recipe each month and look inside your recipe book for inspiration. Fifth step: dessert. Stop making each day a special occasion. By now, you're drinking more water, starting to cook, and eating some fresh fruit each day. Perhaps you've cut down on your dessert portion. Now it's time to lessen sugar's hold on you. This is hard. If you're an emotional eater, you can come up with many reasons why you deserve dessert that day. Start trying to think of non-food methods to reward yourself. Depending on how often you have dessert, lower the amount you consume. Find small things to help replace them if you're having a hard time. Try freezing yogurt, making a fruit smoothie, or having a small pre-portioned piece of dark chocolate. Step 6. Vegetables. Yes, they're pretty intimidating. Start as small as you need to. Maybe some baby carrots with enough ranch dressing that you can't taste them. Add in some celery sticks. Steam some broccoli and drizzle it with cheese sauce. Dressing and cheese sauce aren't very healthy, but we're learning again. Once you're eating more vegetables daily, we can lower the amount of toppings. Try new vegetables and new cooking methods. Roast cauliflower in the oven with olive oil and garlic salt until brown. Do the same with asparagus, adding Parmesan cheese. Steam some squash and add salt and butter. Try hiding some spinach in your fruit smoothies. You might be surprised to find some vegetables you now like. Step 7. Lose the junk food. All of it? Yes. Maybe not right away. Take small steps if needed. The less junk food you have lying around, the less you'll eat. If you have some around, by now you've learned about portion sizes. If you slip a little, just look back at all the positive changes you've made and remember you're on a journey. This turned out longer than I expected when I first started typing. I know the panic that can come when you see an overwhelming obstacle, and how easy it is to not change or try. I hope showing you a path through might help, even just a little bit. We're rooting for you. Story 28. 1. Changing my drinking habits to just water. No beer, juice, or soda here and there. Just water. Stop the mindset of you have to finish your plate. Yes, throwing away food always feels wrong, but overeating doesn't result in anything beneficial. It's still wasted food, and throwing it away does not make you feel sick. Some foods are great as leftovers the next day, but those that aren't should just go in the bin. Stop eating when I'm not hungry. I used to have 3 meals a day and some snacks out of boredom. Now I usually just have breakfast, an apple or a small salad during lunch, and a small dinner. If I'm not hungry in the evening, I'll skip dinner altogether and have an apple if I later feel hungry. Your body knows when it's hungry, so there's no need to eat just for routine. Don't buy food I don't want to eat. Admittedly, recent inflation has helped here because I'm too frugal to pay nearly €2 for 100 grams of chocolate. If I don't have it, I can't eat it. Walk. I dislike running and don't have much time for workouts, but I try to walk as much as possible. I either walk instead of taking the car or march in place while brushing my teeth or cooking. Story 29. Eat less than you burn. Spoiler alert. That is what everyone who has ever lost any amount of weight has done. Story 30. I switched my sugary sweets for fruit, drank water instead of soda, and limited my portions. In all honesty, what I found works is to ensure that your reason for losing weight is for yourself and not for anyone else. Story 31. I had to put up $1,000, and if I didn't lose 10% of my body weight, I would lose the money. If I did, I got to share the money from those who didn't meet the requirement. Story 32. I burned more calories than I consumed. I know that sounds sarcastic, but it is essentially weight loss basics. Additionally, both exercise and healthier eating become habits after a few weeks, making the process easier than most people think. There is a change in your brain that occurs over time. Story 33. I had a list of rules. When you eat, don't graze. Eat your meal and be done. If you must snack, plan that snack, even if it is just a handful of nuts. Drink lots of water and avoid eating after dinner unless you feel your sugar is getting low. Then you can have some blueberries and a cube of cheddar. Don't restrict yourself from everything you love. Have a little bit now and again. Keep your hands busy. Knit, crochet, do puzzles or word searches. Read. I'm not big on exercise, but take a walk. At one time, I was counting calories versus Weight Watchers points, but I found I was eating too much on Weight Watchers. I have not used Weight Watchers in years. Story 34. If you want to change your eating habits, Consume more whole foods and drink mainly water. 1,000 calories of broccoli will be far more filling than 1,000 calories of a chocolate bar or a can of soda. Story 35. Microdosed tirzepatide. This is my last resort, as I have tried many other methods. It's been great so far. I still crave healthy foods, but not chips or ice cream. Story 36. I accomplished 3 things. I bought a digital food scale, downloaded a nutrition tracking app, and then weighed, measured, and recorded everything I ate. The calorie counts of some foods and the portion sizes of others were shocking. To maintain a modest caloric deficit, it is important not to cut calories too much, as this can leave you without enough energy to exercise and make it harder to stick with your plan. I have a few strategies that have helped along the way. I avoid drinking calories, so no juices, milk, or high-calorie coffee drinks. The only exception is the occasional protein shake. I also pay attention to carbohydrates and sugars because I had a blood test that indicated my blood sugar was high. Story 37. Don't drink your calories. Exercise. Maintain a calorie deficit. Consume real food instead of junk, snacks, and sugar. Determine your total daily energy expenditure and track your calories. Story 38. For me, it has been beneficial to maintain a consistent exercise routine, as I often skip dinner on those days. My optimal time to go to the gym is in the early evening, around 6 or 7. By the time I finish, I do not have much of an appetite, and it is too late to start cooking, so I end up going to sleep without having dinner. Story 39. I stopped drinking soda and lost about 30 pounds in 1 year from that change alone. If only I could bring myself to cut out beer, I would be in great shape in no time. Story 40. Quitting drinking. I realized that I didn't really like getting drunk. I was just used to the feeling of having beer in the evenings. Once I replaced it with alcohol-free beer, I didn't feel the compulsion to get drunk anymore. Story 41. I counted calories and maintained a deficit. I can eat what I want, but some foods are more filling and a better use of my daily calorie limit than others. Story 42. A spreadsheet that tracks my daily calories and weight has helped me lose 47 to 50 pounds since November 2023. Story 43. I lost 50 pounds in 5 months. I used a calorie tracking app, drank seltzers to feel fuller faster, and ate a whole can of no-sodium added dark red kidney beans every day. They are filling, can be seasoned in various ways, and are extremely high in fiber and protein. I alternated between 93% lean beef and thin-sliced chicken breasts. Other variations included adding a half cup of jasmine rice before cooking and substituting high-fiber tortillas when I was tired of beans. Story 44. I do not recommend it, but I became dependent on marijuana and lost my appetite. Now I am anemic and nauseous most days. I dropped from 180 to 150 in about 3 months because I would eat only 2 snacks a day, and that was it. It is very unhealthy, and I am facing the consequences now, 3 years later. Looking good does not feel good at all. Story 45. I run 5 miles every other day, maintain a calorie deficit, and experience an overall lack of hunger due to mild depression. That will do it. Keep at it. Story 46. I changed my mindset about food. It is not supposed to be a delight for the senses at every meal. It is fuel for your day. Story 47. Everything under the sun, including gastric bypass surgery, was considered. What finally worked is GLP-1 medications. I am at my goal now and have been for over 2 years, and I will never stop taking this medication. Zepbound? Currently. For the first time, my mind feels fixed around food. Story 48. Cut back on sugar. I did that and lost about 8 pounds quickly. I avoided soda, reduced my intake of candy and sweets, and tried to steer clear of the ice cream aisle at the store. Story 49. I broke up with my ex. I was cooking and eating to please him. I wasn't hungry, but he was, so I would cook. He didn't want to eat without me, so I would have some. After I left, I lost 15 pounds. Story 50. My mother dropped 65 pounds in about 10 months simply by using a smaller dinner plate. She did not avoid any foods, just took smaller portions. She said the small plate tricked her eyes into thinking she was getting a full meal. My father bought her a cute 3-speed bicycle and she would ride around the neighborhood for an hour every night after work. As for me, I was eating more. I was only having 1 meal a day supper, followed by a small serving of ice cream or yogurt with fresh berries. I was going to the gym to swim, use the elliptical, and do light strength training several times a week, but the weight was not coming off. I consulted a dietitian who created meal plans based on my goals and lifestyle. She advised me not to go more than 3 hours without eating, but to avoid eating 3 hours before bed. She felt my body was in starvation mode, saving every ounce of fat in case it didn't receive more food. She didn't restrict any foods but did recommend that I drink a little more water. Just for your information, I was never a soda person. My meals included breakfast, a snack, lunch, another snack, supper, and a final snack, though I considered my after-supper dessert to be the last snack. After about 2 weeks, I started to notice some weight loss. I lost about 35 pounds, which was my goal in 6 months. I won't lie. For someone who wasn't hungry, looking at a plate of food knowing I had to eat it was daunting. I reminded myself that I was essentially fueling my muscles so the fat would melt away. It worked great, and I felt absolutely amazing. I had great energy, my mood improved significantly, and I finally felt like my body fit my bones, if that makes sense. I should return to that plan. Due to some events, my eating plan was sidetracked, and I'm right back to where I started, eating only supper. However, I maintained that routine for many years before getting derailed. Story 51. Portion control, balanced meals, no alcohol, and consistency have led to a weight loss of 5 kilograms in 8 weeks. The meal plan is from a paid program and it is effective. Story 52. Depression and smoking. You should focus on consuming protein-rich meals and aim to exercise for 10 to 15 minutes each day. For breakfast, consider light Greek yogurt with oatmeal. Enjoy fruits as snacks, and for lunch or dinner, prepare chicken breast in an air fryer accompanied by rice and vegetables of your choice. While you can opt for cooked potatoes, rice is preferable and sweet potatoes are also a good option. Broccoli is one of the best vegetables to include. Bread is not your enemy, but it's wise to limit its intake. If you feel hungry, drink water, then coffee, and have some fruit while waiting for your next meal. Story 53. As annoying as it can be, download a free calorie counting application. Actually track everything you consume and be truthful. Seeing a number in front of you about what you should eat in a day and what you do eat can be eye-opening. It is much easier to say no to that last snack of the day or to make a healthier choice in the middle of the day when you have those numbers staring back at you. Of course, you need to eat healthier in general, but purely from a weight loss perspective, it is a simple math problem. Consume fewer calories than you are using and you will lose weight. Story 54. I read that food tastes as good with the first bite as it does with the final bite. It doesn't improve the more you eat it. This changed my entire outlook on food. I don't need to eat the whole bag of chips or anything else. I can stop. The flavor doesn't get better as I continue, so I don't feel like I'm depriving myself. I'm simply enjoying it for a little while and then I'm done. This is the main change I made that has worked for me. Story 55. I counted my calories. If you are aware of how much you have eaten in a day, and if you are reminded of how little you can actually get by on, dieting becomes much easier. Story 56. Quit drinking soda altogether. Even diet soda can cause weight gain. I only drink water, coffee, and unsweetened tea. Story 57. Track everything you eat in an application. You may not realize how much oils, sauces, and occasional snacking throughout the day can accumulate, and this makes all the difference. Consistency and acceptance that you will feel hungry for a while are also important. Story 58. Honestly, I focused on exercise and counting calories. I started running for 30 minutes a day and tracked my calorie intake to ensure I didn't eat more than I had before. I lost 40 pounds in a year. Story 59. Intermittent fasting and completely stopping the consumption of mostly processed foods is my approach. I only eat after 5 o'clock in the evening. It is challenging for about a week until your body adjusts to the change, but I assure you it becomes much easier. Story 60. Probably unhelpful, but I wanted to lose the weight more than I wanted to eat. I guess it was sheer determination and a consistent calorie deficit. Story 61. I realized I had attention deficit hyperactivity disorder and received treatment for it. Many of my poor eating habits were actually a symptom of the disorder, as eating is a sensory-seeking behavior for me. I can now eat instinctually and follow my natural appetite since my symptoms are properly managed. Story 62. The realization that food will always be available. I can have it later or tomorrow. I tell myself this repeatedly, so I usually don't end up having it later or tomorrow. Story 63. The easiest way is to get on an exercise bike and watch something or play games while doing it. I watched all of The Sopranos and Boardwalk Empire while biking. Each hour of the episode was equivalent to a day of biking. Story 64. Figuring out why I had gained weight was important for me. I realized it was a form of protection. As a survivor of childhood sexual abuse, it was my way of shielding myself from danger like armor. Now that I am healing from my childhood trauma, I have lost 126 pounds and I continue to make progress. Story 65. Stopped eating processed foods. Whole foods only. Your gut will be healthier, which affects your entire body. Story 66. I reduced my alcohol consumption from over 100 drinks per month to about 5 to 10. I switched to non-alcoholic drinks and only have 1 or 2 when I go out to socialize. I walk frequently and count calories. I have lost 40 pounds in 18 months, with another 60 pounds to go. Story 67. I am consistent in forcing myself to stick to 1 plate per meal. I used to load up on as many plates as I could from my college dining hall. Even if each plate contained healthy food, I would fill up to the brim to satisfy my cravings. It was challenging to switch to just 1 plate, but I made the change. Now, with my exercises, I have lost fat and gained muscle, and I can see my abs to some extent. Story 68. I discovered that I am pre-diabetic and have gallstones. I started eating smaller portions and reduced my carbohydrate intake without completely eliminating them. I also removed greasy, fried foods, as they can aggravate my gallstones. I went from about 158 pounds to a size 16, which motivated me to lose weight. Now I weigh around 131 to 133 pounds and feel much better. Story 69. What helped me was delaying my first meal of the day for as long as possible. Once I start eating, I find it difficult to stop. Story 70. In the past, strength training helped with maintenance, and Weight Watchers plus daily cardio helped me lose about 20 pounds in 2 separate instances. I was never able to keep it off. If I broke my diet plan even slightly for a couple of days, it felt like I'd gained 10 pounds within days. Tragically, a close friend's death led to about 20 pounds of weight loss as well. I have never had a healthy relationship with food and wellness. However, Wegovy has been the one thing that helped me view food differently, eat what I need instead of what I want, and eat healthier. I can actually look at a salad and not gain 5 pounds now. Story 71. Quit drinking alcohol. I was only having 2 drinks a night, but between the calories and the extra food I would eat with it, it added up. Story 72. Understand that the human body operates as a calorie intake and calorie expenditure system. The quicker you grasp this concept, the sooner you can achieve a six-pack with minimal effort, relying primarily on discipline. Story 73. I swapped rice for finely chopped cauliflower. I can eat a lot more cauliflower compared to rice, for many fewer calories. Story 74. Cut your calories. I drank more water when I felt hungry, and when I wanted a sweet drink, I opted for diet sodas or blended cucumbers and lime juice with water to make a refreshing beverage using a sugar substitute. You will see how beneficial cutting out sugar can be. Story 75. For anyone who is in the diet binge cycle, years of practicing mindful eating and trying to break the cycle really worked for me. I was obsessed with food and weight for most of my life, literally 80% of my thoughts sometimes. My desire to overeat was rarely driven by hunger but mostly by my mental state, viewing food as something prized and off-limits. I did therapy, read some books, and just practiced for years. Now I simply eat what my body craves and maintain a healthy weight with no effort, which once sounded insane to me. Story 76. I stopped taking birth control pills and lost 30 pounds within a month. I replaced it with Nexplanon. Story 77. Caught an ex in my bed with someone else. I lost my appetite for 10 days. Don't worry, I'm back to being healthy. Story 78. Reduced sugar. Until you pay attention, it is surprising how much sugar you consume just by eating what is available. Switching to almond milk and grain-free cereal made a significant difference. I went from 220 pounds to 170 pounds in less than a year. Story 79. Weightlifting. I'm toned yet slim. I have never lost fat so quickly in my life, except in high school when I stopped taking medication. I lost 25 pounds in 1 month without making any other changes. My doctor was convinced I was using drugs. Story 80. I stopped drinking juice and soda regularly. Now I only drink water with the occasional ginger ale. Story 81. 1. Avoid calories from drinks. Increase water intake significantly. Add flavored water if necessary. Prepare easily accessible pre-cooked meals in portion sizes to avoid junk food when you're hungry. Have a cheat meal once a week. For me, this is Friday night when I eat anything I want, just one meal. If possible, enjoy your cheat meal while fully fasted. This means no food after Thursday night dinner until your Friday night cheat meal, resulting in about a 24-hour fast. The benefit is worth it. Even if I consume 2,500 calories during the cheat meal, that's only around 700 calories over my target. Understand your maintenance calories based on your age and activity level. Then reduce that by approximately 500 calories. This process will take months, and possibly longer depending on your weight loss goals. For those who want to maintain muscle while working out, keep protein intake high with a ratio of 40% protein, 40% carbohydrates, and 20% fat. These strategies work for me. Find what works for you. Stay shredded, my friends. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.